Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to the Foundry Reviews. Today, I, Sly, Ken, John, and Tony will be reviewing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Uh, boys,
Midness.
how we doing?
Doing great, dude.
Disappointed.
Exactly.
You ready
Yep.
to talk about this movie? There's a lot of stuff to cover, man.
Best
Is
movie.
there?
Oh, there's. I'm sure everyone's feeling like a nice big weight of kind of. Man, this could have been a lot better, and it wasted a lot of wasted
Yes.
potential. This movie.
Yeah, it could have
Yeah.
been a lot better.
So, I guess I guess we'll start with some positives. I thought the
Short
the
You
the
thought.
direction and the feel of this movie was cool because it was different compared to some of the other MCU movies. It was more of a
Yeah, I
horror,
agree.
creepy, like mysterious vibe to this movie, and Sam Raimi did a good job with all that. And you could tell it was like a Sam Raimi movie. It was like
sure,
some
yeah.
of those
the
like classic
cinematography
shots.
was
Shots,
stolen
yeah,
straight
the
from
pan-ins,
Raimi
yep.
movies.
Yeah, and it felt like you could be like, oh wow, there are some of those shots where like I could see this being in those old Spider-Man movies that he did. Like it feels the same. You're like,
Even
okay,
with
cool.
like some of the Evil
I
Dead
was
stuff
thinking,
that he
like,
did.
Evil Dead
Yeah, that's
stuff,
what I was
yeah.
thinking. Especially
Yeah.
like there's the close-ups right up to his face and stuff. I'm like, that's some Evil Dead, like evil stuff right there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Lot of good
It's
references.
enjoyable,
there.
yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that it would feel more horror-y, but I mean, like at some points, I'm like, but it was very good atmosphere for some of the
Yeah.
plots, some of the stuff.
A lot of cool like magic, and the effects were great. Like yeah, I never felt like pulled out of the movie because something felt too wonky.
the
for
beginning.
most part.
Yeah, I was very
Mm.
thrown off in the beginning. I was just like, this feels like. I actually
Yeah.
felt like quite a bit of the movie. I'm like, this is just a CGI mesh
It's a
of
fuck
Oh yeah,
fest,
this whole
yeah.
movie is
bleh.
CGI.
And
They
My-
jumped
my
right into it too at
girlfriend-
the very beginning.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
my
Yeah.
girlfriend looked at me, who doesn't watch Marvel movies. She goes, "Why does this look like Shark Boy and Lava Girl?" And I was like, "God fucking damn it! It absolutely does just look like just CGI everywhere. Like, yeah, it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl."
Yeah, I was not super impressed with it, and I was really, I was taken out, and I was like, this looks like just a CGI mess of just blank, and nothing looks real or believable to a degree. And like I said, like I think overall with the movie, like I'm not happy about it. It's like $1 billion company, and like they're still putting out like just meh, just like kind of average to me about it. I was super disappointed. I was really excited about it. I really love the first Doctor Strange. I love Mads Mikkelsen in the movie. I like Stephen Strange. I like his character a lot. I love Wong. And I was like, man,
Dude,
past
I
like
love Wong.
this movie in the past couple Marvel movies leading up to it have just been like kind of disappointing in some regards. And it really sucks because I'm like, I want to be super excited about it. Like the last good thing I was happy about and I had like positive things to say about it was probably the Loki show.
Yep.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other positive things.
Yeah,
to keep it
see-
positive from the beginning.
Yeah.
before
The
we
new
hit into
character-
spoilers.
The new character is definitely enjoyable.
Yeah,
yeah,
feel like
I
America
thought she did
Chavez
great.
quite a lot.
I think
She
she
did a
was
great job.
probably one of the highlights of the film.
I agree. She was-
America
she-
Chavez,
Had good
yeah.
energy. Yeah, I liked her character. Just like her style and just they had pretty good chemistry overall. Actually,
Yeah,
like
I
her
agree.
with most of the other actors, like she did a pretty good job.
I kind of
So,
got
yeah.
some Hawkeye vibes with jaded hero and like young person who like
plucky
is
young,
young. Yeah,
little-
I was
Yeah.
getting more flashbacks to like I feel like they were also trying to draw the connection frequently, like the Spider-Man film. They kept tying it back into this one and him being like, "Oh, I kind of learned a lesson from
kind of
that."
babysitting.
Yeah, that, and then like also his like ability to make decisions. Like that whole movie, you know, he was chastising Spider-Man, and then at the end of it, he was just kind of like, "Okay, you're right."
You're right. He has had the mentality of I'm the adult, I know best kind of thing, and then he's actually kind of proven like maybe I don't know best.
Maybe there's something
Yeah.
for me to learn, right?
Yeah, I
exactly.
should
That's
look-
what the first
that's definitely a
Doctor Strange movie
Stephen
was
Strange
all
thing.
about.
I wish
Yeah.
I should see from their point of view a little bit.
Yeah,
I did
Yeah,
like.
and he had some growth in this for sure.
Why you
in
say that? It
regard.
kind of reminds me of like the opening scene, like not really like. I mean, I guess this isn't really spoiler territory, but with like the first Strange we see, Defender Strange, is that his name? Ponytail Strange.
Well, we should
Yeah.
wait to talk about the spoiler stuff in the spoiler
No, I'm
section.
saying I don't really think it's spoiler territory, but like obviously like.
Well, let's not talk about
that's
specific scenes
Strange.
yet. Let's wait.
But like what you were saying about Strange, like kind of learning like how like maybe he's not always right just because he's Doctor Strange. Like what that Doctor Strange does, like obviously wasn't right, even though he thought it was right. Still like didn't result in like him being right. You know?
Mhm.
Does that make any sense? Without
Yeah,
spoiling
just
anything.
it just you just said it. Yeah, pretty much agreeing with
Yeah.
us that he has a lot to learn and that he's not always in the right and justified in his actions.
Right. That's why I
Yeah.
like this Strange. Like our was it 616? Is that our like MCU?
Tony really said we're diving straight into spoiler territory.
I know he did not care.
Well, I'm not. I didn't spoil nothing. We don't know what happens to him except for like another 3 minutes. Then we'll say what happens to him.
Hmm. Yeah, unless anyone like yeah, I was just super disappointed by it. I was really surprised. They really threw a curveball at you at the beginning too, about
Yep.
who is I guess the main antagonist of the film, which
Yeah.
I wasn't against, but I really wasn't like for it. I wasn't.
It was so fast.
It was very forced. I felt like, and it was really hard to believe her like that character's motivations as well.
Yeah, and yeah, there were some things that you would have been easier to understand if you had watched some of the shows type of deal,
Yeah.
which
And
like you didn't absolutely need to, but like it made a lot more sense if you had.
I feel like me
And
watching that
Even with that, I also agree with you at feeling like somewhat like out of nowhere to
out
some
of place
degree.
too.
So how did we feel about the combat scenes, the fight scenes?
It was all
I
right.
thought that everything was good except the finale.
I agree.
The finale was very dumb.
See,
lot
I
of
feel
plot
like that's
holes
where
in this film.
he draws in that Spider-Man reference where he like doesn't do the same thing he did in that movie.
Yeah,
it's
well,
kind
it's
of the-
definitely him growing sort of a thing, which I think it was good to some degree. I thought it worked out okay.
And then we have the return of Christina Applegate in this movie.
Which I what was I gonna say? God, I saw the entire show that we watched with that kind of led up to this character's big reveal, like of them being an antagonist. I felt like it was a big waste of time. We watched us watching that entire show, and then
Except the finale.
that character coming to a resolution. You know, I feel like that was just a big waste of my fucking time too, and a waste of our time because that character went through something and just like, and it's like, why did we watch this like character try to have a resolution and everything like that? Like, why?
Oh, and then they
Can we go? Can we go into spoiler because now I have something to combat that.
To everyone,
I think it's about that time. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Well, as before we'll get into spoiler territory. Like, should we tell the audience you guys want to like give a yay or a nay, or you guys should check it out at least?
I'd say
Sure.
still go see it.
I'd say yay still, but still
I'll say yay,
enjoyable
too.
enough.
As in,
Maybe not in
Wait
theaters.
for Disney Plus. Yeah, I would wait for Disney Plus. Maybe buy it on a physical release, but I would not waste the money to go to a theater. No.
No, I'd say it's one of the very like disappointing. Like I always used to be very hyped for Marvel movies, and like
Yeah, me
new
too.
Marvel movie, like you got to see it night one, day one type of thing. But like
Yep.
watching it, it's just like the only reason that anyone should go see this immediately is if because people love to spoil stuff. That's the only reason to go see this thing.
That is. Well, because like it used to be like you go see a Marvel movie and you're like, that just topped the last one I saw, and that one just topped the last one I saw, and now it's like I don't think that's anywhere in my top 5.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
like,
just
maybe we're just jaded. Maybe we're getting
I'm like,
old,
that
guys.
was certainly a movie with a beginning, a middle, and an end, but like that wasn't my favorite Marvel movie. Like
it wasn't
okay,
even like I'd say like
alright.
mostly Marvel movies are very fun, and I don't think that movie
Yeah.
was even near as being fun as the other ones.
This is
think
gonna sound
the
really
parts
weird,
of it.
but I
Go ahead.
think the problem with Phase 4 is that this is their largest opportunity for endless possibilities. They've opened up the multiverse pretty much in every single film that has been in Phase 4 with the exception of one. And ironically, it's that one film that is the most grounded, that is the best film of Phase 4.
That's an interesting
Most
point.
grounded. Black Widow.
I believe he's talking about
What-
Shang-Chi.
I'm talking about
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Well, that's
In
not
my
really grounded,
opinion,
it's
that is
fucking
the
magic
most
rings.
level-headed film. It has the best story, has the best plot, least inconsistencies.
Oh
and
yeah, that
overall,
movie's great, and it
It's-
does a
it's
perfect amount
phenomenal.
of fanfare with, building upon the story and like, it is good. It's very balanced. It feels like a Marvel movie. Like
Yeah.
it is like a perfect Marvel movie.
I mean, let's
I
face it,
agree.
Spider-Man
That
and
has
this
been the
movie
best one.
both were like entirely fan service. It was
Yeah.
like just
Well,
carrying
This
things.
one wasn't necessarily entirely fan service.
I don't
but
feel like it
was
moved any
different.
kind of like story along. You know, us getting
Moved
to
nothing.
like I
Yeah,
said,
because
I
that's what
think
I told both of you. I said, "What is up with these movies lately? Like the old ones are like this movie, like Captain America takes place over the course of months, and then this one, it's like it's 2 days long. It's like 2 days of shit that happened, like a day or two. Why are the movies moving at such a slow pace?
I don't know, bud.
Mm.
Well, I guess we can. If you guys are watching this right now, we're gonna go into some spoiler territory. Those are our thoughts on it. You know, do what you want to with that information. Appreciate everyone checking out the video. If you guys are gonna head off now, but we're gonna dive into some spoiler territory. So beware if you guys don't want to get yourself spoiled for Doctor Strange 2. Maybe you want to head out. But if beware. We're probably gonna do some spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tony Big Mouth, hit it.
Okay, so you were saying that you didn't think it made much sense for Wanda to be the villain because she kind of got that resolute
mean,
at
like,
the end of
I mean-
WandaVision, right?
I guess it does make sense, but I guess I just don't like wasting my time for a character like to have a resolution over a couple hours, and then just for them to reverse back into it and be like, okay, well, she's not really over and she's not done healing, even though
Yeah.
she did
Yeah,
some
but we've seen that
insane
with
shit.
Tony Stark. Like
So-
Tony Stark makes the same mistakes over and over again.
So what I kind of saw this as what they were trying to do. I don't know like if this like is real like okay, so I guess I see it more as WandaVision was more about her grief over Vision being resolved, and then this movie is still showing that she still has
She created a new
grief
thing to
over her
grieve.
kids. Yeah, her kids rather than the whole Vision grief.
That's
Which
fair.
But
that's
again,
how
it's
I
hard to
kinda
feel
saw it.
bad for her and her want these things like, oh, I feel bad for my kids that I creative out of like being psycho. Like I still don't feel anything
Yeah,
like, I don't-
because
Especially-
it's
because they don't exist.
yeah, it felt really. Oh, and now that we're in
Oh.
spoiler territory, Wanda's the antagonist. just so
Yeah,
everyone
Wanda.
knows, but-
Yeah, Wanda fucking Scarlet Witch is the antagonist, and
Yeah,
She's
they
the
Scarlet Witch. There
She's
we
a good
go.
antagonist, though. She definitely gives those
she
horror
was
vibes.
cool.
Here's the thing, John. I think the kids do exist because, like she said, she has, dreams all the time. So that's another cool thing. I do like that little premise that they had. The idea that
No,
every
they're
time
real.
you dream, that dream is happening in another reality.
Yeah.
No
What
matter
did they
how
dream
weird it is.
before?
What did
Before the
Wong say? He
multiverse
said, "What
was a
about the
thing.
ones where I'm getting chased by giant clowns while I'm naked?" And then America Chavez is like, "Yep, that happens."
I was thinking, in the case of like all those other realities, especially like the one where the Illuminati is, I think Vision wasn't in the picture at all, which means she had those children with an actual
Yeah.
human being.
He couldn't have been because the Ultron bots were successful.
Yeah,
There were
which
Ultron
Exactly.
bots
I thought
there.
that was a really cool thing, and I'm like, Tony brought that up to me. He's like, oh, it's a possibility that
Sokovia
Vision
was
didn't
never
even
destroyed.
like that Vision wasn't even alive. Then I'm like, that's a really good point. I wish the movie actually like
It
dove into
told
that,
to us, yeah, rather than just like us
assuming
having
it,
to
being
piece
like,
that.
oh, that would have been cool, But
It had
instead,
a lot of things that were like very brief, like the Mordo thing, like the other Mordo. I was like, oh, cool,
Another
maybe we'll see our
big-
original Mordo.
yeah, I feel
Or
like that was
maybe
another.
something big with this Mordo.
Yep.
Nothing.
And speaking of brief things, we defeated Thanos with the light book, and then they just show dead Thanos and then killing Doctor Strange.
And then
I'm
was
like,
so like still wearing the
okay.
exact same outfits and everything like
not
that.
battle damage or anything.
It
Yeah.
was so cool. I felt so tacked on. There were so many points in this movie. Everything felt tacked on and just like sloppily added. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It was very lazy.
Yeah, it's a
all
very
the-
lazy film.
All the heroes in the Illuminati, if we're talking about that, like it
Yeah.
felt. I thought it was cool. It was definitely the fan service that you guys were referencing.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I'm like, that's the
it
It was
heaviest
cool
stuff too.
until they made them look weak as fuck.
yeah,
Which-
it's like it's weird because it didn't make Wanda look strong. It made them look weak
Mm-hmm.
because we have a gauge for how strong Wanda is. and we also should have a gauge for how strong they are. So we would think they'd have a bit more of an interesting fight than Wanda just absolutely
Yeah.
destroying all of them,
think-
especially when one of them is like just made of cosmic power. And like, I mean, obviously, freaking
Oh, Captain
Mr.
Marvel.
Fantastic had no chance. I don't know why he was
They
even
made her
there.
too smart,
Spaghetti
and they
boy.
made them all too stupid. They made them like street level villains. They were henchmen to
Some
her.
thugs.
But like Reed Richards is
Yep.
supposed to be like one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and yet
like
he
smarter
literally
than
shoots
Tony
himself
Stark.
in his own foot.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
I don't
why
know
Very
would you-
disappointing.
If that was
Oh.
them trying to show us that either A, they were cocky because they thought they beat Thanos, the ultimate threat, so they thought they were unstoppable, or B, they genuinely wanted to make her look strong. And I feel like it was more of like the strong thing, which I mean, like, I understand.
They look
that.
like jobbers.
Yeah, but like I told
wasn't
John, like, they
logical.
could have made it like made them put up a little bit of a fight. I didn't enjoy just seeing Black Bolt fucking cave his head in by talking. I didn't enjoy seeing fucking Reed Richards get turned into spaghetti. Like it just seemed like okay, they were there for their face in the fan service, and then
That was it.
they're like, all right, that's out of our.
They just
budget.
wrote
Like,
themselves
we
into
can't
a
show fight
corner,
scene."
and they're like, "Oh,"
Yeah, exactly.
and they didn't know what to do with it. It was just a lot of that
Well,
going
they,
on. It was
they,
just,
they wanted to set up that fight scene for sure.
it wasn't
and,
even like, yeah,
it
you're right. It wasn't much
really
of a fight
necessary.
scene either. It's like, oh,
She
cool, we
fought
get to see.
two of them.
So like, we get to see
She fought two
Scarlet
of them.
Witch. And like, oh, finally, Scarlet Witch and Mr. Fantastic get to go up at it. Like, who's asking for that? Fucking nobody.
He reached at her, and then she turned him into fucking spaghetti.
Yeah. It's just like a lot of that stuff going on. I'm like, man, super disappointing. It's just, and also the entire thing with the love interest that we've not heard about in like almost a fucking 10
Holy
years.
fuck.
Get the fuck out of my
Christine.
face, this thing. Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, Stephen Strange has been so obsessed and he's been so in love and heartbroken over this girl that like was at the beginning of the fucking first Doctor Strange movie that nobody fucking remembers. You know, unless you're some
I like
fucking
the
nerd who just recently watched Doctor Strange again before going to the second fucking movie.
Well, what
Bullshit.
About what if?
It hasn't.
They
he-
had it in What If.
that's true, which
I
I've not seen,
explained
so
to
that's on
John-
me.
I
That's on me
explained to
100%.
John that What If
And it's
episode
they
today,
fucking like shoehorn her in every single fucking like universe that they fucking visit for 5 goddamn minutes. Also
Yep.
super disappointing. An infinite amount of universes and dimensions and shit like that, where different like parallel shit going on, and they just go to fucking New York 3 times over. Fuck out of my face. So much
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I
wasted
told John.
potential, and like just it's so annoying. They have so much potential and like unlimited fucking resources and unlimited money with fucking Disney, and like that's what they do. We see 4-5 goobers get killed by Scarlet Witch in like a blink of a second, and it's just so annoying, dude. Fuck Christine. I don't give a shit about her, and neither does
I
Doctor
don't
Strange.
either.
And fucking tell me that he doesn't give a shit about her. He was written to
Yeah,
care
he
about her,
She
and he
really
did a good
didn't need
job.
to be in that movie.
No.
She could be out of that movie, and basically the movie would be
Yep.
the same.
Yeah,
She
I
could
would-
have had her only scene as that stupid wedding scene at the beginning, and that could have been it.
That's the only
Could've been
scene
it.
I told John
Just to
that I
show-
was like, that scene's fine.
just to
Like,
show
yeah,
that he's
whatever.
truly not happy deep down. That's all we needed
Exactly,
to believe.
yep.
Because in the end, they set it up anyway for him to have a new love interest, which is like his actual love
The
interest
eyeball.
in the comics.
The eyeball. No, the end credit scene he's referring to.
Oh, the
yeah.
Power Rangers lady.
Yeah, sorry, it's just a very frustrating movie because you see like all this stuff and just wasted opportunities. You know,
They
the
even go through a
multiverse.
bunch of dimensions or universes where there's like very creative stuff going on, but they're like no. But I mean, I guess I bet you their in-world explanation would be because that's exactly where America Chavez wanted to go, to New York every single time.
Yeah, which is okay. She wants to go to New York every single time. That's fine. But like, come on, dude.
They could have been a little
be
more
a little
creative,
creative. Yeah, be a little creative. So I was a little disappointed
Yeah.
with that. Not saying it was bad, but I'm just saying like it would have been nice if they were a little bit more creative. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
like even Guardians of the Galaxy had more interesting worlds, and that's in the same universe.
I feel like
Yep.
it was just underwhelming because like with a movie named Multiverse of Madness, like John said, like we saw 3 New Yorks, like Utopian New York, New York that was melded with another timeline, and normal New York, the MCU New York. And like I was expecting like a universe hopping adventure
Kinda
where
thing
they
like
would be
that,
like
yep.
jumping from multiverse to multiverse.
How cool would it have
And,
been if
like-
they had like a fight scene that went from universe to universe to universe of
What
them like hopping
I-
through it all? Like that would have been amazing, you know?
I figured out the perfect
Some
word
Dark
for
World
what
type
this
shit
movie
right
needed.
there. Yeah. Or like,
This movie should have had a montage of them going from universe to universe looking for this book. That's all this movie needed for it to like just a fucking 5-minute montage would have made this much better and given us more of a grasp on like, okay, they made it to this second New York that's semi-normal, but we just watched 5 minutes of them jumping from like completely like areas that they obviously wouldn't understand, like, hey, this world is people that's nothing but like fucking like shoes. People are made of shoes, you know, like that's just the way
They
the
could
world
have done
is.
the
It's like
opposite too, Tony.
some like
They
Rick
could have
and
had-
Morty shit, though, you know, like that is like the multiversal theory. Like shit is like random, like people are made of cars, you know, cars drive humans. Like that's not just, oh, New York, red is go instead of green is stop. Like that is the dumbest like multiversal twist ever. A
like,
color
wow,
on a
that's
light.
that's what we saw. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
highest bit
how
of difference.
wild.
Yeah.
Exactly. It just felt very underwhelming with like the multiverse stuff. Was expecting more crazy shit other than like, hey, this person's the Captain Marvel is not Carol Danvers, it's her friend. Like,
I
wow,
thought
This
that was
film
very
is
the
cool.
essentially
only
clickbait.
difference.
That's what this film is. The title is clickbait.
I
But
was
also
pretty.
there was 60% of it that was reshot, so we don't know what was in the original cut.
I was very disappointed. I feel like when I was watching the movie, I was very taken out because they made it very clear that nothing ever really matters except for the main universe, like the Earth. The I
Yeah,
don't remember.
616. And
That's-
then I think it's like 830 or something.
If it's
for,
not
like, the
616,
new
then
one.
then it's like they've conditioned us not to give a shit. If it's not like 616, I don't care.
Exactly. If it's not the MCU universe, then we don't care. Like, why
And-
did I care about like the Illuminati dying? They're not a part of the Avengers or anything. I don't know who the fuck they are. Like you said, it was like a joke almost. It seemed like a joke. Like they took no time to explain who the Illuminati was or anything really. They just expect you to know shit.
I had a lot of gripes with the movie, and you know, like, it's not bad, but I just expected a lot more. So I've got like a very just average feeling, and I feel almost exhausted. Like another Marvel movie that I'm not like super into. Like cool, that really didn't do anything for me. I didn't get introduced into any cool new villains or anything that I'll be expected. You know, it was just cool. There was WandaVision. I didn't. She didn't really convince me as a big villain besides just her murdering a fuck ton of people, I
Yeah.
guess. And a bunch of fodder, you know? Maybe if she
I-
like murdered Wong or something and I'd be like, "Whoa," you know?
It wasn't that she was the villain for me, because I enjoyed that she wasn't just like the monster of the week like some of the movies do, you know, like where they have like a one-off villain and then you're like, okay, well this person's gonna die at the end,
Yeah.
you know, like, and that was cool, but it was just more like they rushed her story, and I feel like the movie was like 70-30, like 70% Doctor Strange, who is like a more of like like a side character now at this point than anything, and like 30% her, which she has like had more character development than him over like the course of all of the MCU, and they just kind of like shoved all that to the side, and they're like, she's bad, like you shouldn't care
He-
about it, she's bad.
I believe he's very 2D, and when they
Yeah.
actually wanted to do some character development, the Sly, we're actually talking about this before, when they try to talk about his sister and maybe like go into a little bit deeper, he's very 2D. He's just very cocky, and that's it. That's it. His character. Yeah, I was hoping to get some more, but she apparently is dead, and that's the last bit of her, which I'm perfectly fine with because everything
I
that
don't
I
feel
saw.
like she's dead.
Everything that I saw in
Not
this
to say
movie was not impressive at all, and I didn't find her acting very convincing. Everything the deal with the children I thought was complete cringe and just super corny and just bad, and not great. Just like I said, not super impressed with it. I don't think at any point in this movie I'm like, this is very good or I'm very excited. You know, I'm
I
just
think the one thing the movie did do good at was keeping me guessing at what was going to happen next, kind of. Like, I did not expect them to reach the point of, okay, here's the Illuminati. I'm like, all right, well, then they're set. Like, they got these other superheroes kind of, like, not on their side, but they're like, we're going to handle Wanda. And then they all died. I'm like, well, what are they going to do now? And then they get to the light book. And it was like, all right, cool, they got the book, so here comes the resolution. It's like, oh, no, she destroyed the book. And then it was like, okay, now what are they going to do now? But every time, like, I wasn't expecting something to happen, it doesn't mean that it was good what they chose to
yeah.
do with it.
I think that's why it felt long to me, because they had an end goal from the beginning, kind of set up. They're like, we need to get
But
this
it
book
keeps
and
getting
stop everything.
changed.
But then it something goes wrong and it gets destroyed or something, and you're like, okay, and then no, so now we got to go find this other universe with the Doctor Strange here and find the Darkhold so that we can
Yeah.
use it to then go do this other thing and use the forbidden magic to go help out there, and then I think that's what felt long to me was the ending, because it was like it kept just like,
You feel like
well,
it dragged on.
here's this next thing. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, there were some cool things at the end, some of the cool concepts, I guess.
I feel
And
like the
I
ending
like
was so
that.
rushed.
I like at the ending how Doctor Strange did grow a little, and he I think, like Sly was saying, where a bit of the Spider-Man stuff kind of comes up, where he finally decides that, like, okay, I'll allow, I won't try to be the one that needs to be in control, hold the knife, as they say in the beginning of the movie. Like, he doesn't need to be the one holding the knife, so he lets, instead of taking the power from America Chavez, he decides to let her use it to defeat Wanda or whatever. And I'm like,
Cop out
she
ending.
uses it creatively. I thought it was kind of
Wanda
interesting.
cry.
Shitty cop out ending just to be, the power was in you all along. Okay, fuck off. Terrible.
I wish the movie, I think a better solution for the movie's plot would have been like Wanda pursuing them for whatever the hell reason it was, and then him trying to like get into her mind and like fix her, because like how the Darkhold was corrupting her. I would have preferred it was like this quest of him like running through the multiverse trying to get away from her while also trying to help her indirectly. I would have rather had that.
That would have been interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was figuring this movie was going to be this massive psychological film.
Me
and I remember
too.
when it first was like announced, we were all thinking it was going to be like nightmare related. Like
Yeah,
the
dude.
villain was going to be someone messing with
There was
his
only
head.
one nightmare just at the beginning.
Like have them running through a universe of just 8 minutes where like Wanda's a giant fucking spider like that's trying to kill them or something. Like have some psychological, like go fucking crazy. It's a dream realm of different universes. You could literally do anything, and what's the extent? Red means go.
I mean, to go.
Yep, that's their extent.
Yeah, they showed like less than a minute of like the multiple universes.
Wait, we haven't mentioned the most important multiversal change. The fucking Pizza Papa.
Yeah, I was also felt very rushed and cringy to where I couldn't even enjoy it because it
I
was
like
very.
Pizza Papa.
Yep.
That
Pizza-
was
Bruce
what's his
Campbell.
face?
Yeah, Bruce
Yeah,
Campbell.
from
Oh.
Evil Dead, right? Or whatever.
Yep, it was
He's-
an
yeah,
it
he
was an Army
sells-
of Darkness
he sells
reference where he was
pizza
punching
balls.
himself. Yep. It was an Army of Darkness reference where he was just punching
Yeah.
himself out and stuff. It was
Yeah, that
which
was
also
a stupid end credit scene.
Oh yeah, the second
The
one.
fourth
You
wall
wait
break?
till the
I
very
did not
end.
give a shit for that. That was stupid.
Yeah,
It's over. He
He's
says
like,
me punching
"Ha ha."
himself for 2 weeks.
I know, what an asshole trying to defend his way of living and calling out a shoplifter. Yeah, what an asshole. Ha ha, so funny.
What, your kids don't like falafel?
Man, what's the next movie coming out next month? Thor. I don't even like when I see Thor. I saw that trailer like leading into it. Watching that, I was like, I don't care about this. Like, it doesn't even look super great to me. I'm like, okay, maybe because I know that it's coming. Like Chris Hemsworth is coming to an end when it comes to Thor, maybe. But I was just like, I'm so jaded by it, like you said, Ken. I was just like, nothing looks. It doesn't even look good to me. Like, I'm not even excited to see that movie. I'm like, I'm probably gonna be extremely bored in this film too.
I hope not. I'm somewhat excited for that one because the last Thor movie was pretty good. But
Who's
who
directing? Who's
knows?
directing new Thor?
It's still Taika.
Yeah, it's still Taika Waititi. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, hopefully it'll be good. Don't let us
Yeah,
down,
they
or I
can
will be.
understand.
You'll get a lengthy review, Buster.
Yeah, not to even get anyone hyped, but I really hope, since this is a Thor movie as well, that they're gonna take this opportunity to bring back Loki,
Yep.
since it's a
Mm.
Thor movie.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah, I don't think I have any other thoughts on this movie at
Hear that,
least.
Taika? Bring back
Yeah,
fucking
I'm-
Loki. You
I'm
motherfucker.
pretty like set on that. You know, I'm super disappointed. You know, I think like I focused a lot more on the negativity and stuff, especially, and I was really vocal about it. But I think if you're a big Marvel fan, I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of this. You know, they had the big adventure. He did a lot of his little magic thing. You saw America Chavez, pretty cool. Scarlet Witch was We saw a lot of her doing like a lot of dastardly stuff, so it was a really cool platform. I'm glad they finally showcased that like she could be the most like vicious and most dangerous like character in the Marvel universe. You know, as she only killed, and yeah, she murdered the fuck out of like Captain Marvel, which
Everybody.
yeah, which is pretty neat. They finally got to see like say she can be the most like deadly person or like most vicious character in Marvel. You know,
think,
showcased her
I
power quite a
text-
bit.
I texted
Yeah.
to Sly as a joke, but then like I'm kind of like, "Oh, I guess I was saying too wrong." It really shows us like how merciful Thanos really was. Like Thanos completely had the power to like just kill people if he wanted, but he's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna like rough you up and throw you out of the way. I just want these stones so I can snap." Like,
Yep.
like I really don't care, like about killing you. Like I could, but you're.
I mean,
not
he's
really gonna
then
get in
gonna
my
kill
way.
half the
Yeah.
universe. So
Yeah,
like,
it was just like, you know,
like-
you're in my way. You're just like
Yeah,
like
He's
a
got an
nuisance.
objective.
He's like, excuse me, and then she's just kind of like, you want to stop me? Well, I'm just gonna murder you. And it was like, whoa, hang on, Thanos was just excusing himself. You can't murder people, Wanda.
I'm very happy with Marvel Studios and Disney as well. I feel like they really went out of their way and took, took a.
It is a risk. This
Yeah, they
movie
took a
was
risk. I feel like they took a risk with what they showed in it. Like for was PG-13, there I feel like there was a lot of actually gory
Murder.
content. Yeah, a lot of
Oh, yeah,
murder
I gotta
content.
tell. I
And
gotta
with-
tell the review. I've told you and I told Sly. So in my theater, whenever Black Bolt shouted his like, caved his head in, there were kids that started to cry. in
Really?
my theater.
no.
They started. There was like. It was like more than one. I think it was like 2 kids. They started crying, and like while like Mr. Fantastic's getting ripped apart, these kids are crying and shit. It was. I was even just kind of like, wow, this is like
Hardcore.
fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, that dude just like caved his own head in, and like blood poured out of his nose and shit. Like whenever like Reed Richards fucking pops, like a little bit of blood splatters out. I was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. Like,
Yeah,
How
I'm,
about Captain Carter getting chopped in half like Darth Maul, huh?
yeah,
yeah, it was, and like there was blood on the shield when Peggy died and shit. Like it was pretty fucking. It got really violent.
which
And I
I'm
was like,
happy.
is this
Like I said, they
PG-13?
took a risk about it. I'm really happy they did. You know, because hopefully they won't be afraid to
Yeah.
show stuff. You know, in the future because
Remember these
General
risks in Moon
response
Knight,
has been
hmm?
pretty positive in
Exactly.
this movie too.
Exactly. I'm glad they took those risks, and I hope they think like with everyone, because I would say we have some mixed feelings about the film, right?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that just has to do with like maybe like it just feels. I think it has to do with the reshoots and
Yep.
maybe with what they decided to leave in that was a part of the original. If this gets like a positive reception, maybe in the future that will stop them from coming in and being like, we need to reshoot this, you know, and let directors actually.
Because even
like, take
Spider-Man had a
helm
ton of reshoots too, right?
and remember Ant-Man was one of the first movies because Edgar Wright was like
Originally, that's what I'm
80% done
saying.
with Ant-Man,
That's
and
what-
then they reshot like 80% of the movie without him.
I hope they go into some different like won't show like any weaknesses with like letting directors take charge with a lot of stuff. Like Edgar
Yeah.
Wright should have definitely been stayed on for Ant-Man. I'm glad with this director as well. I'm glad just because this has mixed feelings. I hopefully they're not gonna regret their decision. Like, okay, maybe it shouldn't have been like PG-13. Maybe it should have been like we shouldn't have shown all that gore, and maybe we should have went with a different director. You know, just because of the mixed feelings. I feel like they had some positives as well. I think maybe it could have been worse with the differences there.
Yeah, I think the movie did well enough. I think generally speaking, it's still
It has an
fairly
audience score of
positive.
86 on Rotten Tomatoes. Which
Fucking
I think
nerds, dude.
is still way too high, but it's good for the studio. I feel like because maybe this will encourage them to make more stuff like this, but not like this. If that makes any sense.
Oh, man. Well,
Like, let us get our R-rated Blade movie, motherfuckers.
yep, that'd be pretty good. I'm excited about that.
Or a Punisher series.
Yeah,
Rated
or our fucking Deadpool
Yeah.
movie. Like, come on, just do it. Just
Yeah.
do it, Marvel.
Well, I give this movie a 5.
Wow,
Yep,
that is well.
very boring to me.
I give it a 7. It was decent
Really?
enough. Yeah.
I think I'll also give it a 7.
Fanboys.
I gotta give this one a 6. To me,
enough.
it was lacking so much.
So what are we saying? 6.5.
There's just too much that they could have done right, and they really didn't.
Yeah, 6.5
Yeah.
cool with you guys?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
fine with that
Sounds
too.
good to me.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like 7 is like what did I don't remember what I gave Spider-Man on this. I think I gave it
Higher
an
than a
8.
7.
I think you probably gave it like a
Yeah.
9, dude.
If I did, I kind of want to like rethink what I said because in comparison, I'm like I don't think I like because I've like rebought the movie since then and rewatched it. I'm like I don't think it's definitely not an 8. If I gave it an 8, I think I want to put this like around the same level as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So 7.
Which is
It's-
you
it's
seem very
7.
keen on Spider-Man. I mean, I felt like they both feel like very dull, lifeless movies to me.
They are.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But like, I think I told you this doesn't fanfare as much as Spider-Man did, and it went more an original route. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily make it better. It just makes it more original. They didn't focus so much on fanfare. I don't think that Sam Raimi really gave 2 fucks about what happened to any of the characters.
What do you guys
Valid.
think? What before we end it and stuff, what do you guys think of the after credit scene? Sly, you want to explain what happened there, buddy?
Oh God.
The after credit scene and like the final scene in the actual film sets up for the idea that the bill comes due from like the first movie where Mordo warns him when he starts like making that deal with Dormammu. And he says,
Dormammu.
you know, you breaking these magical rules is going to come back and bite you in the ass. Eventually, you're going to pay the bill, essentially. And it essentially finally happened at the end of this film. He gets that weird third eye for messing with the frickin' book.
Mhm.
And I think it's more so for him possessing dead bodies, which it would have been cool if they explained why that's a no-no. But thanks, Marvel, for skimming over that. Anyway, a woman comes out of a portal,
Charlize Theron.
and Charlize Theron, exactly.
Well, it's a
and
no-no because it's dark magic and he's a sorcerer. He can't use dark
Bingo
magic.
bango. She comes out of a dimension that looks oddly like Dormammu.
Yeah, the Dormammu one. Yeah,
It
I
is
noticed that too.
Dormammu's. The dark
Exactly.
realm, right?
Now,
Dark dimension.
I'm sure we'll get some more backstory into that, but this is his new love interest, and her name is Clea. She's a previously established character from the comics, and she's also a dabbler of the dark arts, and in my opinion, a much better option than Dr. Christine.
Also, just
Yeah,
want to
wasn't
say,
she?
Christine
Sorcerer's
look
Supreme,
even
something?
at her, even at Christine's wedding, she looked like shit, bro.
She did.
I was like, it's her fucking wedding, dude. Like, really? Like, you're not gonna put on some makeup, dude, and do your hair a little bit? Like, that's what I kept saying. Like, she looked. No, was that Jessica Alba? I was gonna say, like,
This whole time I've been referring to her as other just basic white female actresses. I haven't
that's
called
who
her...
it was. I'm like, really? Benedict Cumberbatch. That's
Is it
who he's
Rose
dating.
McGowan? No,
Shut
it's
up.
not Rose
No, it was
McGowan
not.
either. Is it-
No, it definitely was not. This girl was kind of ugly, and I was really under. Like, I cannot
What's
get
her
over.
real name? I can't
I can.
remember now.
I cannot get over how like try a little bit, dude. I try harder going to work.
Their chemistry is so bad in this movie.
It's not a great
In
movie.
the first one, it's okay, but in this one, they act like they like I told you, like fucked and like lost a child together. When like they
Wait,
like,
did that
never
happen?
Fucked once.
No.
Okay.
He's equating it to
Once.
that.
They were never like married. They never like had a like child that died. Like
They had a
act
will they won't
weird
they
in
said.
this movie.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was
They
a will they
just-
won't they, and
they
then this
just
bastard
fucked
was gone for
once.
5 years. They brought up the blip again, and he essentially says, "I got cuckolded because I blipped away." That's pretty much what the film starts.
And
off
my
with.
cats died.
Also, I thought that was very out of ill taste for them just to make a joke out of that character. It'd be like,
I thought of that. That thing was fucking funny.
I thought it was out of really ill taste of him. Like,
It was
I
kinda
lost my
true.
brother, and like to show that there are still people who are resentful, for the Avengers
Yep.
and them
Resentful
interviewing.
of Strange, really, because
Exactly.
they say that it was his call. And I feel like the film should have focused more on that, like that scene where he like finds out that there was another solution to like beating Thanos. That should have fucking stung
Oh,
like hell.
Yeah.
That should have
'cause
been a
we've-
scene where like he kind of
every
breaks down and he's like, "God damn
character-
it."
Every character we have gotten an arc for them mourning the blip. You're right, Sly. And Doctor Strange is the only character so far that has came on screen other than like Bucky. We got an arc for the blip. We got Sam's arc for the blip. We got Wanda's arc for the blip. We got Spider-Man's arc for the blip. But we have not gotten. We didn't get any Doctor Strange arc for the blip. We didn't get to see how the blip affected him, how anything that happened with Thanos, like possibly other than him not being the fucking Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
Yeah.
We don't know how he feels about the blip, really.
I feel like maybe I shouldn't even have to tell you. Maybe how I'm not supposed to fucking like assume how he feels. They should fucking show me, goddammit.
This
Yeah,
is why this movie should have been 2 hours and 40 minutes.
exactly.
And this is why it's a 6.5, motherfuckers.
All right, yeah.
It's
So
not
yeah,
Sam's fault. It's Kevin's fault.
yeah, Kevin. That's what I'm saying. Like, Disney, don't blame Sam. You know, let him do more
It
stuff
ain't
maybe in the
Sam's
future.
fault.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That's we could be here all day nitpicking, bitching about this
Yeah.
movie, but
I could do
Those-
this all day.
No,
boom.
you can't.
Burner. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching another review here on the Foundry. Sorry it took us a bit to get to it, but we've been very busy. A lot of stuff going on with work, life, and personal lives. But hopefully we'll have more superhero-related reviews, maybe some Morbius, maybe some Batman in the future. But we'll see you guys later on the next review. But until then, bye, everybody.
Goop yay.
Bye.
6.5.